The crowds are gathering, the doors are about to open, and we are ready to get in there and take over the gaming world and bring you the juiciest games. Welcome to DMS Magazine at Spiel 2015. Not all games are either about being cooperative or competitive. Some games are just about. Because why not? And that is exactly what 360 Stories is all about. And I am with the wonderful designer Wilma, who are going to tell me what is 360 Stories all about. Because it's a game, but it's not a game. And it's an activity, and it's more than an activity. Tell me about it.
Well, actually, I think it's a conversation starter. I think that's mainly it. You see the Dutch version of the game here, the big version. Mm-hmm. And what you do is you use the arrow to choose a story. And you use dice to pick one of the particular stories. And then you use another die to go back in time and tell a story about, for example, peace. This is in Dutch. I'm from Holland, you know. So this means peace. If my story is about peace, then I use a die to decide whether my story about peace is when I was very young or somewhere in between or now. Let's say my story will be about peace nowadays, because peace is something really important nowadays. Then I share a personal story with you about my opinion about peace or my experience with peace. And what we can do is you can ask me questions or you can just listen. And when I'm done telling my story, it's your turn. You turn the spinner, and then you choose a story, then you will come up with a story. The nice thing about this game is that it will let people, it enables people to rekindle their memories and to go from very deep stories to light-hearted, trivial stories, because also, of course, we can have a laugh. And the nice thing is when you sit together and share your personal stories, you have a new kind of conversation. You have a new kind of getting to know each other. And what I like most about the game is that in the end it all boils down to you have a lot of similarities. There are a lot of things that we all share. And we have some differences as well, but if you hear the people their personal stories, you understand the differences better. And I think especially nowadays, and I don't want to get too emotional, but I think it is really very important. It's so important that we stop seeing other people as the enemies or stupid people or whatever. I think it's very important that we see each other as humans with all this. We have the same needs. We all need a house. We all need food. We all feel ashamed about ourselves now and then, and we're all very excited about our things we do well now and then, and that's what you can share. And even if you come from Syria or you come from Holland like I, or from Spain like you, we share these things, and that's that's one of the nice things about this game, that it really gives you the possibility to get each other, to know each other in a new way, in a deep way. But also it's fun. It's also fun. Yeah. So we use it for family meetings. It's new dates. Actually, I made this years ago because I wanted to get to know my date of that time better. So that's the beginning of the whole game. So it's for fun. It's for more serious purposes, and also in Holland, it's also used in healthcare for elderly people. We use it in schools, businesses, for team building meetings.
Just the ball by itself with the spinner is very attractive, very good fun. Why did you introduce the dice, the element of chance?
First of all, you need the colored die to pick one of the stories. So you use a die and it will either be blue, a green, yellow or red. So it frames you to one story. The age die, it frames your story even further. And I found that this is important because otherwise the stories will be too, how do you say that, too much in general. And it works. It does something to your memory. If you see that your story has to take place between 3 and 12, for example, it triggers something. Immediately you go back, and the story pops up. Where if you don't use this, then your story will be more like, oh, what am I going to tell? So I think these are key elements to the game.
Have you thought about introducing an aspect that creates stories for the future, something that you haven't lived yet, rather than memories? People have imaginations, and sometimes rather than what do I remember, maybe it's where do I want to go. So maybe that's something that will inspire them for the future to think of how do they see peace in 20 years' time?
We will do it in the next version, okay? Right now you have future, toekomst in Dutch. So if you're lucky enough to throw this one, you can talk about your future or your future dreams from when you were a kid. Like what did you want to be? So there is an element of future, but your idea is quite nice, actually. I think we should develop a new game for that. Yes.
Now, how has the process of creating the game for yourself, to get to know your partner at the time, to actually bringing out the game and turn it into a absolutely beautiful looking thing, because it is seriously stunning. How has that process been like?
That is a very funny story, I will tell you. This first game that I made from paper, I almost forgot about it, and also the date was no good. So that was that was then. But a couple of years later, I went into a film academy. And one of my assignments was I had to make a promotion clip, a PR clip. And I thought, I have this idea about that game. Why not make the promotion clip about the game? Well, I was not the best student, so the clip is... I passed, but okay. But everybody really loved the idea of the game, and they said, "Oh, you have to do something with it." That was in 2008, and actually, I got the courage to go out to a big producer of games, and I presented the idea, and actually, they wanted to buy it. And they said yes, and we also want to sell it international because it's got international, but that was 2008. So a couple of weeks later, they phoned me and they said, "Yeah, it's crisis now, and this is a game without winners or losers, and we are not sure about it, so we'll cancel the deal." Okay. So I put it back in the drawer again. And 2 years ago, something happened in my life. That's another personal story. But I decided, okay, if you want to live up your dreams, you have to do the things that you have to do. So I found a designer. I searched all over Holland, and I found a designer. She's my neighbor. She's a wonderful designer. And she made, because I presented her this paper thing with like, okay, I want red and yellow and blue, and I want like this and this and this, and she made this, and it was like she could have a look into my head, like this is how it has to be. So all credits to her. And then I thought, yeah, I'll just do everything myself.
And now here you are.
And now here I am, and it's good that I didn't know what it would take to do everything myself, because
Hard work.
yes, I started my own publishing company, and like if you have a product, you also have to be a publisher. So I thought, okay, why not? I'll start my publishing company. Yeah, and that's called Tail Swapper. So I think that's nice, and actually it's very fitting, because that's what I want to do. I want to swap tales. I want to hear your story, and I like you to listen to my story, and I think stories make the world better. So I hope that 360 Stories is the first published product of Tail Swapper.
How can people buy it? If people want to get their hands on this, where do they buy it?
I have 3 websites now, one for the German market, one English and one Dutch. The German and the English websites are called 360stories.de or 360 Stories Co. UK, so they can sell it in my shop. And of course, that's also why I'm here in Essen. I'm looking for distributors and partners, and to be honest, I know nothing about international business, so I just came here blank and think, okay, see what happens. Yes, exactly.
Well, Wilma, many congratulations, best of luck. I know that you're going to be doing really, really well indeed, and I look forward to seeing the next edition of 360 Stories, which will be 720 stories.
I think we have an appointment in Valencia.
We do indeed. We do indeed. So I will hopefully see you there too.
Yes, I'll bring my whole family. That's good, right?
That's the plan.